Hey, welcome. So today, we're going to tackle one of the biggest, weirdest problems in the construction world. How the very success you've worked so hard for can actually, well, cause your company to fail. We're going to build a blueprint for smart growth, and we're using the wisdom from Chapter 12 of Paul Netzter's fantastic book, Building a Successful Construction Company.
This book, it's our guide through some pretty tricky territory. And while the whole thing is packed with great advice, we are laser-focused on one chapter. Why? Because it deals with a painful irony. You hustle, you succeed, you start to grow, and that growth suddenly becomes your single biggest threat.
And let's just start with this quote from the author himself. "Then the cracks appear." Wow, that's a pretty chilling thought, isn't it? And we're not talking about cracks in a foundation. We're talking about cracks in your business. Suddenly, quality starts slipping, projects aren't profitable anymore, and a company that was a rising star just starts losing money.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with that paradox of growth itself. Then we'll lay down the rules for doing it right. We'll get your toolkit ready, look at all the different ways you can expand, figure out the true price of growth, and finally, help you design a plan to really build for the future.
Okay, first up, the growth paradox. This is such a critical idea to get your head around. It's totally counterintuitive, right? The very things that made you successful in the first place can get absolutely wrecked when your company grows too fast. Let's just get right to the heart of it. What is actually going on here? I mean, why does this happen to so many good companies that seem to be doing everything right? It's the question that keeps a lot of business owners staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.
The book points to one core reason, and it isn't bad luck or the market. It's about you, the owner. When your company is small, you're everywhere. You've got your hands on everything. But as you grow, you have to let go. You have to delegate. And control passes to other people who, even with the best intentions, might not have that same owner's mentality, that fire, that pride, that focus that built the whole thing.
Okay, so that's the problem. But the good news is it is solvable. So let's shift gears from the why it all goes wrong to the how you get it right. This next part is all about the foundational principles you absolutely have to live by if you want to grow the right way.
All right, these 4 rules, they're your new mantra. Number 1, growth has to be controlled. It's got to be deliberate, not just jumping at every shiny new opportunity. 2, go after work in areas that have a future, not just one-off jobs. 3, don't let it be random. You need a crystal clear vision for where you're headed. And 4, this one is so important, do not chase growth at any cost. Your profitability and your good name are not for sale.
Having the right rules is the foundation, for sure. But you can't build a bigger company without the right tools and resources. So what exactly needs to be in your toolkit before you even think about laying that next brick?
So these are the must-haves. You need the right people, absolutely. You need solid systems in place so the company isn't just running on what's in your head. You've got to have the cash to actually fund the expansion. And yeah, you're going to need support staff and formal certifications to even qualify for those bigger, better projects.
Okay, so you've got the rules, you've got the toolkit. Now, where do you go? See, there isn't just one way to grow. Let's look at the different strategic paths you can take to bring your company to the next level. Just think of this like a menu of choices. You could just take on more projects, or maybe bigger ones. You could expand to a new city or state. You could find whole new types of clients. You could even branch out into different kinds of construction, or go really big and buy another company. Every single one of these has its own risks and rewards. And the right choice? Well, that depends entirely on your vision.
And now it's time for a really critical reality check. I mean, winning that bigger contract feels amazing, right? It's a huge victory. But every single step you take towards growth has a price tag. And a lot of the time, it's the hidden costs that'll do the most damage.
So, what is the real price? It is so much more than just the materials and labor for the next job. It's the huge investment it takes to scale up your entire operation. Oh yeah, these costs add up fast. You're going to need new equipment, new offices. You'll face what the book calls unforeseen learning costs when you go into a new market. You're going to hire specialists who cost you money before they bring any in. And you'll need a ton more capital for bigger bonds and securities. To put it simply, growth costs money long before it ever makes you money. All right, let's bring this all home. We have looked at the danger, we've laid out the rules, we've got the tools, and we've counted the cost. So what's the big takeaway? How do you build a company that's not just bigger, but actually stronger? This final quote just nails the whole issue, doesn't it? Growth is expensive, it's risky, and you've got to think it through really carefully. But just standing still is also a risk. In this industry, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. So the goal isn't to avoid growth. The goal is to master it.
So we're going to leave you with this one big, powerful question to think about. You've built something successful. That is amazing, so congratulations. But what's next? After everything we've talked about today, what is your blueprint for the future? Because planning that, well, that's the most important project you will ever take on.